Hello, this is a demonstration of the new Verizon Home Phone Connect. Now this is the new version of the Verizon Home Phone Connect. There was an earlier version. This version is model number F256VW. You can see that number here in the back. It's made by Huawei and it works on Verizon Wireless. Again, this is model number F256VW. The earlier version of the Verizon Home Phone Connect was model number FT2260VW. That's FT2260VW, and that number will be on a plate on the underside of the unit. The older version was considerably larger than the new version. Otherwise, I think the specs are more or less the same. The older version has 2 signal indicator lights. The new version has 3 signal indicator lights. So if you have a weak signal, 1 light is lit up. If you have a moderate signal, you get 2 lights. And if you have a strong signal, all 3 of these are lit up in blue, as you can see here. So this is a wireless device. It connects to Verizon Wireless, and it has this antenna. Now, this is a considerably larger antenna than you have in a cell phone. So the theory behind that is it will make a stronger connection with Verizon Wireless and be more reliable than even a standard cell phone. So hopefully this will be as reliable as a standard wired telephone line. Now here we have the connector for the antenna. On the original version of the Home Phone Connect, this connector was much bigger, but that shouldn't make any difference. I'll go ahead and put this antenna back on. Also on the back panel, there are 2 standard telephone connectors. These are the standard kind of telephone connectors that have been used by phones for decades now. And this is a power supply connector. Underneath this little cover is a USB port. My understanding is that the USB port is not used by the consumer. It's only used by testing and manufacturing. So there's no function for that USB port as far as I know by the consumer. Now, as I said, that there's a power connector. This comes with a power supply. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Here is the power supply used by the Verizon Home Phone Connect. It has a connector that will plug into this jack there on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it up and plug it in, and we'll continue with this demo. Okay, I now have the unit plugged into power, and now the next step is to plug it in with a standard old-fashioned telephone. This is a standard old-fashioned telephone. I've owned this phone for probably 30 years. It has a touch-tone keypad here, and it's the kind of phone that you would plug into a wall jack in your home and use like any other phone. So I'm going to use it to help me demo this device. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into one of the 2 jacks. These are 2 identical jacks. It doesn't matter which one you use. And now I have it plugged in, and you can hear that I have a dial tone. I'm holding that up so you can hear it. And when I make a phone call, you can hear that I get touch tone sounds when I go ahead and make a phone call. Now, if somebody calls me, I will simply answer that on this telephone. And since there are 2 jacks here, you can plug in an answering machine into the other jack, or you can go ahead and plug this into a wall jack in your home. And that way, your entire telephone wiring system in your home is energized by the Verizon Home Phone Connect. If somebody calls you, you can answer on any phone in your home. You can originate a call from any phone in your home. If you have other telephone devices, such as an answering machine, those will all work just as they used to. Now, the purpose of this device is to take the place of a wired phone line. So if you currently have a wired phone line that you're paying $30+ a month for, you can have that number, your home phone number, you can have that ported over to this device, and now this device is a wireless device. It becomes your home phone line. If you already have a Verizon Wireless account, you can do this as an add-a-line and pay only $10 a month for it. If you don't already have a Verizon Wireless account, you can add a new basic account, again, porting your home phone number over to this, and that will cost $20 a month. So you can go from $30+ a month down to $10 or $20 a month, depending on whether you have an existing Verizon account or not. Another very interesting feature about this is that it's a wireless device. So if you have 2 homes, let's say you've got a weekend home, you can have this as your home phone line in your main home, and then on the weekends you could take it with you to your weekend home, and your home line now travels with you. If you have a wired phone line at your weekend home. You can disconnect it, just turn it off, and now your main home phone line can be wherever you are. If you go to the beach for a month in the summer, you can take this with you, and you've got your home phone with you wherever you travel. So it's got some very interesting features. Now, I mentioned that you can plug this into your home wiring. If you do that, there's one caveat, there's one thing that you must do. When the phone company connects to your home phone wiring, somewhere, usually on the outside of a single-family home, there will be an interface box. You have to go out to that interface box, open it up, and disconnect the wire. There's a jumper wire inside that. You've got to disconnect the jumper wire. You can disconnect it from either end. It doesn't matter. You can disconnect it from both ends. What that does is that will disconnect your new home phone line from going all the way back to the phone company. You don't want to send it back to the phone company, so you've got to go to that interface box and disconnect it. Once you've disconnected it, now you can have this energize all of your phones throughout your house, any answering machine you may have, and they'll work completely normally. They'll have a dial tone. You'll be able to make outgoing calls. You'll be able to take incoming calls. Now, there is a couple of alerts on this. The Home Phone Connect will not work with fax machines. It won't work with a security system that requires a telephone line. So if you now have a security system in your home and it uses a phone line to call the security company, you can't use that for this. If you have a medical device that requires a phone line, you can't use that for this either. Or a computer modem, modems and fax machines will not work with the Home Phone Connect. So if you still need to use those devices, then you may have to keep your standard wired phone line. But if you don't have any of those devices, you can certainly go with the Verizon Home Phone Connect and save some decent money. So this has been an overview of the operation of the Verizon Home Phone Connect.